Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive.
Always ready to dive in.
Okay, so today we're tackling something pretty cool. We're looking at Pixar.
Pixar.
Pixar. You know those amazing animated films that everyone seems to love? But,
I see where you're going with this. Not just the movies themselves.
right. We're going deeper. We're looking at data on how men and women actually rate these Pixar films differently.
IMDb ratings.
Exactly. Those little stars we click when we've finished watching a film online. They tell us a lot about what people enjoy. And it turns out, when it comes to Pixar, men and women don't always agree.
This should be interesting. So where do we start?
In the data skies, we take our flight. Trends and numbers come to life. Colors and charts, they dance and play. Showing truth in a visual way. In GenderDecoded, we uncover truths and stories like no other. In the data waves we find the secret maps of humankind.
We're going way beyond just like, oh, everybody loves them. Like, we're looking at gender.
Gender.
Yeah, like, do men and women like the same Pixar movies for the same reasons?
Interesting.
Right. So we found this research
Yeah.
using IMDb ratings.
Oh, wow. So actual data.
Yeah. Not just our opinions.
Love that.
Me too. And it gets so interesting.
bet.
Okay, so like right away, Brave.
Yeah, the one with Merida?
Yes. Totally scores higher with women.
Makes sense, right? First female lead for Pixar.
Exactly. But then, like, Cars.
Oh, love
The
Cars.
sequels, though, they flip.
Really?
Yeah. More popular with women.
I would not have guessed that.
Right. It's wild. So, like, we got to break this down.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, so first big thing the research points out is action versus emotion.
Okay.
So, like, guys, from the data at least, they love the big action flicks.
Makes sense.
Like Toy Story, Incredibles.
Yeah, classic hero stuff, right? Saving the day, explosions, all that.
Exactly. And it's usually a male protagonist driving all that action.
Yeah, it's a pretty classic formula.
But on the flip side,
Yeah.
women in the data, they seem to really connect with movies that get emotional.
Oh, interesting.
Like really emotional, inside out, soul.
Oh, yeah, those are tear jerkers.
Right. And it's not just the feels.
What else?
Family dynamics play a big role, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like Finding Dory, for example.
Oh, yeah, that one is all about family.
And I think it makes sense. Like, a lot of times it's female characters in these movies
Right.
who are handling those tough relationships.
Yeah, they're the ones often dealing with the emotional heavy lifting.
Exactly. So it's like Pixar's tapping into different experiences, maybe?
Absolutely. It's like they're telling different kinds of stories which resonate differently with men and women.
Right. And speaking of different stories, we got to go back to Brave for a sec.
Our Scottish princess.
Right. Like, it's not just a good movie.
It's iconic.
It is. Because she's Pixar's first female lead.
Huge.
And taking charge of her own destiny.
That's powerful.
Right. So, like, there's this whole cultural impact, too.
Totally. And we see this with other movies with strong cultural stories, too. Like Coco.
Oh, yeah. Coco did amazingly with women viewers, too.
Makes you think about representation, right? Seeing yourself on screen can be so powerful, especially for folks who haven't always seen themselves in movies.
So true. And it's cool to see that Pixar's kind of evolving with this whole gender thing.
How so?
Like, their newer films, Luca, Soul, ratings are way more balanced.
Interesting.
Some even lean a bit more towards women now.
Wow. So they're changing things up.
It seems like it. Almost
Yeah.
like they're reflecting those changes we're seeing in society, too.
Yeah, becoming more aware of different perspectives, telling stories that connect with a wider range of people.
Right. And moving away from those old school gender roles.
Yeah, embracing more nuanced characters and stories.
I love it. But of course, there are always exceptions. Like Toy Story 4 still leaned heavily male.
Even though it came out way later.
Yep. Guess they can't win them all.
True, that. But you know what, LSE is super interesting. Those franchise flips we talked about.
Oh, yeah. Like Cars.
Oh, yeah.
Original was a dude fest.
Pretty much, but then Cars 2 and 3.
They flipped. More women watching.
And the research actually suggests that Mater's whole spy storyline in Cars 2 might have something to do with it.
Huh. How so?
It brought in themes of teamwork and friendship.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that broadened the appeal.
Could be. It's like the franchise added new elements.
Right. New elements that resonated differently with different audiences.
Incredibles kind of did the same thing.
First one, big hit with the guys.
Then the sequel, way more women were into it.
Interesting pattern.
Even Finding Nemo and Finding Dory.
Both skew female, but Dory even more so.
Exactly. It's like these sequels, they change things up.
Yeah, different characters, different themes.
And it totally impacts who connects with the movie. It's like a whole new recipe with different ingredients.
And you know what this all makes me think?
What's that?
If studios really pay attention to this stuff, like really pay attention,
Yeah.
could change movies forever.
You think so?
I do. Imagine marketing campaigns that totally get different groups.
Oh, like targeted marketing based on gender preferences?
Yes. And stories built with those preferences in mind.
So, like, if they knew women were more into emotional, family-driven stories, they could create more of those.
Exactly. And even character design could change.
Oh, like breaking away from those typical stereotypes?
Totally. This data could push the whole industry towards,
More inclusive storytelling.
yes, movies that connect with everyone no matter who they are.
Wow. That's a powerful thought.
It is.
Yeah.
Right? So basically what we've learned today,
Yeah.
Pixar movies, they might be loved by all,
Uh-huh.
but they're definitely playing to different audiences.
Yeah. Appealing to different genders in different ways.
And as Pixar keeps experimenting, changing things up.
It's going to be fascinating to see what happens.
Totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
So, we've talked about all this stuff.
Yeah, all this data about gender and Pixar.
But it leaves me with one final thought.
Okay, I'm listening.
Could Pixar, maybe, someday, make a movie that completely smashes those gender preferences?
Whoa. You mean a film that appeals equally to everyone regardless of gender?
Yes. Like, would that even be possible?
That's a great question. It'd be a huge challenge for sure.
Right.
But honestly, I'd love to see them try.
Me too. It's something to think about, right?
Absolutely.
And for all you Pixar fans listening,
Yeah.
go back and watch those movies.
Nah.
But this time, keep in mind what we talked about today.
Those gender preferences.
Yeah. You might be surprised at what you notice.
Great advice.
Thanks. This is a fun one.
Totally.